policy here at Northway, like many churches, that if a couple wants to get married here, we ask them to go through premarital counseling. We do this because we recognize that the wedding service is a marker in what should be an intimate, lifelong relationship. And so when we go through premarital counseling with a couple, some of the things we ask them to think about and to talk about are things like communications and managing conflict, how they're going to manage their finances, things like what shared interests do they have, what role will family play in their life, are there certain expectations that they bring to the marriage, and then of course we talk about spiritual beliefs and how that impacts them as a couple. We ask them to think about these things. We ask them to go home and do homework in which allows them to consider these things more fully, and then we try to equip them with tools that will enable them to put these into practice throughout their marriage life. Well, Lent here at the church is a season of the year in which we can pause to examine some of those core practices of our intimate, lifelong relationship with the God we know through Jesus Christ. Here in Lent, we want to do things that allow us to be intentional about managing that relationship, about improving it and sustaining it and strengthening it. And so that's why we take a time to look at things like Bible reading, solitude with God, looking at ways that we give or worship or serve others. And of course we want to look at the way we communicate, prayer. That's why here at Northway during Lent, the one focus we're going to have is on prayer, on that communication that we have with God. And one of the things we're going to do is to have a sermon series which talks about what I really don't get about prayer. Have you ever thought about, why should I pray if God's will is going to be done anyway? Why did Jesus pray? Didn't God already know what he needed? Should I keep praying for a particular thing for a certain length of time and then stop? How come I don't always get what I ask for? And this Sunday we're going to look particularly at the question of, if God already knows what I need, then why do I need to ask for it? And so in preparation for that, I encourage you to do a couple things. I want you first to start thinking about your communication with God. Is it at a surface level, or does it reflect an intimate relationship? Then I'd like you to make a list of the things and the ways that God has spoken to you. There could be a variety of ways that you have recognized that prayer is not a one-way conversation between you and God, but something that is an interchange. Then third, I'd like you to think about the ways that God has answered needs in the past for you and the things that you need now, and to begin to pray for those things between now and Sunday. Then on Sunday, look forward to seeing you so that we might continue to think about ways to strengthen our own prayer practices. See you then.